These two ways of living and thinking are so transformative. And what I love is that they're also so simple. Hey dancers, it's Kirsten. Welcome back to Twin Talks Ballet. If you don't know me, I'm a former professional ballet dancer and a mindset coach for dancers, helping dancers to develop a healthy and confident mindset that fuels their highest and best level of performance so they can enjoy their dancing with confidence and joy and ease. So whether you are an aspiring professional dancer, a professional dancer, or you just dance for the love of it, you are welcome here. And today I'm going to talk about a subject that truly I think it's one of the most common struggles I'm going to speak to amongst all dancers, no matter what your goals are, who you are. At times, we all struggle with comparison, particularly negative comparison. You know, we look at other dancers and think, gosh, if I just had their feet, if I just had their body, I'm jealous of them because they got into that summer program, or their talent is recognized and mine isn't. I really don't have to describe what this is like because we all know. So I'm not going to insult your intelligence with describing what it's like to suffer from comparison because we all know. But dancers, despite having lived through this struggle many times as a dancer and also being a mindset coach for dancers, I've just been getting this sense for years, like I can give that kind of cheap advice that is just kind of swirling around the internet. Focus on what you have, whatever. No, stay in your own lane. You know, that cheap cliche advice that I think has truth to it, but you can tell when someone has really lived the advice and when they're just repeating. It's truly such a difficult thing to tackle. And now after coaching dancers one-on-one for several years, I really feel as if I'm ready to talk about this, and I'm excited to give you guys insights that I hope really impact you personally and set you free at least a little bit from the weight and the burden of comparing yourself constantly to other dancers and feeling like you don't measure up. One thing that I've noticed really causes comparison to fester in a dancer that can't just be solved with the cliche advice. I've noticed that constant comparison is often coming from a lack of distinct focus and also a lack of clarity on how is success going to be defined, and also a lack of clarity on the dancer's part of saying, okay, this is how I personally define success for myself. My first piece of advice is this: really get clear on what you are going into each class to achieve. I want to encourage you to define this narrowly in the context of each ballet class and each day to reset your focus, and then also define this broadly for yourself. So as you go into each school year, each semester, or each season, if you're in a professional company, define for yourself, what is the work I'm here to do? What is my job? You know, what is the job I'm creating for myself? You know, it's not just perform, but like, what is my mission in this place? What am I trying to do and get out of this experience? What am I creating with this experience every day of being in the classroom? All these questions help you to get to the source of what is your focus? What are you there to do? Our brains, they cannot focus on nothing. And when we don't define our focus for ourselves of like, here's what I'm in this class to do, then what our brain does to just keep functioning is it picks the shiniest object. Maybe it's that dancer who seems to be really beautiful, or, you know, their body just seems perfect for ballet. And since you haven't defined what your goals are, your brain will just look at the dancer who seems to be having the most success generally, and your brain will just kind of start to tell you, oh, that's what you should want. That's what you should be. They have it better. And you start to really question yourself. You question your value. It's like nothing you have or achieve seems to be enough. Go into every class. I know that might seem like a big ask, but really have a focus. It's honestly not hard to set an intention and a focus and deciding for yourself, what am I here to do? What do I want? What is success for me? Here's a really important clarifying point. When you are defining your focus, it's important to focus on something that you genuinely want for yourself, not something you just think you should do. Here's an example. A lot of dancers set outcomes for themselves or goals based off of what they think they need to fix. You know, I hear the word should come up a lot when I'm asking dancers about their goals. You know, I should fix this. I'm going to work on that. I'm going to stop doing this. And it's very negatively cued. It comes down to a lot of dancers are focusing on getting rid of mistakes, getting rid of imperfections, because they've been told or they've been made to feel as if they should. Like that's what they're there to do. Become a better dancer by being less of a bad dancer. Instead of like defining what it means to be a good dancer, what are the things that you actually want to enhance in your own dancing? An example of choosing a focus that is positively cued versus something that you just think you should do is, I really want to be playful in my artistry today, or I want to dance with a sense of playfulness today. And there are so many different ways you could express that. Like that's personally a focus I set for myself in college. It totally transformed the way I interacted with class, and I felt so much more confident. I noticed instead of saying to myself like, okay, now hold that arabesque, you know, and I would go into it with this like body language of being tense and trying to control because I had to stay up. When I approached a piqué arabesque with playfulness, I would playfully just see how long I could stay and then quicken up the next step or syncopate it so I could still be on the music. And wow, not only was I able to hold balances so much more easily because I was coming at it from an energy of playfulness and desire and fun rather than like, I have to, and putting pressure on myself to do everything and being tense in my body because of it. I was just, you know, my artistry was, it was like on fire, and I was just having so much more fun and so much more success in all these steps. Those are examples of how you can shift kind of a negative goal or one that you don't actually want, you're not very positively motivated towards it, to be something you actually want for yourself. And dancers, I promise that when you choose a focus for yourself, you will be so much more able to stay in your own lane, you know, and be like, wow, okay, it's inspiring that my classmate did 4 pirouettes. Let's see if I can do it, you know? It's so much more easy to do that when you've set your mission and it's something you really want. It gives your brain something you actually want it to focus on instead of just leaving it to wander and pick up anything that seems desirable to move towards in your environment. It's really important to choose a focus. Point 2 is something I already kind of mentioned, but it's to define success for yourself. And this really comes along with questioning also how you have recently been defining success. So when you see that dancer who's getting all the roles and, you know, they seem to be the class favorite, ask yourself the question, what is it that I perceive they have that I don't have? What is it that I want that I don't think I have? Just really get to the bottom of it, because it's not just the body, it's not just the parts, it's what the body or the parts are giving them, at least in your perception. And to see if there are any unmet needs or wants. See how you can actually work to fulfill those things for yourself. When you first break down, how have you been defining success kind of by default? Is it, you know, success is getting all the parts. Success is being the favorite. Success is being a professional dancer at a specific company. Question that default sense of success. What do I think these things will give me that I don't already have? That will provide a lot more insight on how you can either question that reward, like, is that something I really need? Is that sense of reward, or is that achievement of success, will it really give me the thing I think I want? Is there another way to get what I want? You know, when you question that success, then you can both question the reward and either release it or find a better way to attain it for yourself than engaging in destructive habits, like depending on external validation for your sense of worth, or depending on looking a certain way to feel like you have a chance in this career or that you're beautiful. Whatever it is, it allows you to identify maybe destructive patterns that can be changed. And once you question that sense of success, define success for yourself very intentionally and realistically, okay? So maybe success for you is enjoying yourself because you know that this path is short, you won't be able to dance forever. Maybe success for you is living out one of your values for achievement, personal growth, positivity, joy. It could be anything. Like, this is why it's so important to know yourself and your values, because it helps you to more purposefully define success for yourself and then set outcomes that are in alignment with what's good for you personally. Okay, so point number 3, be mindful of your language. When you catch yourself looking at another dancer and you're like, gosh, if I only, gosh, they have it better than me. I encourage you to like interrupt that thought with questions. Says who? Question the source. Where is that coming from? Says who? You know, I have experienced in coaching sessions with dancers so many aha moments when I just, hear them out, and then they'll share something like, I just feel like I should blah, blah, blah. And I say, says who? Or I feel like I have to look like or achieve this, or I have to measure up in XYZ way. Says who? Where are you getting that idea? These very, very, very simple questions help your brain to actually question, and like it interrupts that pattern of telling yourself this story of, I have to do X to get Y. And here's another really powerful and positive way that you can use your language to overcome negative comparison. Get to know yourself by just using the word want instead of should or need to or have to. I've noticed that personally, I've gotten to know myself so much better in the last couple of years since I've made this linguistic shift. When you ask yourself, okay, how do I want to approach this step? Or when I catch myself when I'm about to say, oh, I really should work on my turnout, I stop and I say, do I want to work on my turnout? Why would I want to work on my turnout? And that allows me to actually assess, no, what are my real personal goals? What are the things I really do want to do that are meaningful to me? What matters to me? And it really provides so much more personal insight than if you're constantly using language that is laden with a sense of obligation. You really are just focusing your mind on what people say you should want or say you should do. And it's actually putting you into a mindset of what's called having an external locus of control rather than an internal locus of control, which is really when someone has an external locus of control, they really perceive that factors outside of themselves are what mostly control their behaviors, their thoughts, their feelings. And this could be happening very much on the subconscious level, versus someone who has an internal locus of control perceives how do they want to make choices for themselves. And they're really focused on their personal power to choose and to direct themselves. They perceive that they have autonomy versus being really burdened by feeling as if you need to just do what other people tell you to do. Your goals and your outcomes, your thoughts, your feelings, all these things are mandated by other people, what's going on around you. Let me tell y'all, that's a miserable way to live. So the more that we can use our language to remind ourselves to get back into that internal locus of control, we can look at another dancer and be like, wow, they look really great. And maybe your mind will, kind of bring up a thought like, I should look like that. And in that moment, pause, think of me saying, says who? Do you want to look like that? Why? What would that give you that you don't already have? And then once you question yourself in that way, you've not only interrupted that mental pattern that could have easily spiraled out of control, but you've also gotten to the heart of what your mind is really looking for. And you can either say, you know what, that's actually not what I want for myself. Or you can say, actually that is a value of mine. I do really want to do X, Y, Z. Here's a better strategy for getting that. Hey there, I wanted to just briefly pause today's video to talk to you about mindset coaching. So if you've been listening to this video and, well, hey, if you even clicked on it because you've really been struggling with comparison, it's been taking away your confidence, it's been taking away your focus because you're so focused on what other dancers are doing, and it's causing a lot of negative thoughts and emotions to come up in class to where you can't even dance to the best of your abilities. Hey, if you're tired of that, I know that this video will definitely help you take those first steps, but I want to say nothing replaces the power of one-on-one support in this area. As a mindset coach for dancers and a certified practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming, in addition to other coaching methods, I work with dancers one-on-one to get back that confident mindset that allows them to really be free to not only enjoy their dancing again, but to perform consistently at their personal best level with that focus and that mental freedom from insecurities, self-doubt, limiting beliefs, comparison, you name it. I've been through it as a dancer, and there's nothing I enjoy more than helping dancers break free from that mindset that really takes away their joy and their precious time in this short career. So if that's you, if you're ready to stop struggling with comparison and you want that one-on-one support to really let go of that struggle, then I'd be happy to help. Visit kirstenkemp.com, linked in the description, and you can learn more about my mindset coaching services there, look at incredible testimonials from past clients just like you, and also schedule a free 30-minute consultation where you and I will just be able to talk and to really get clear on what it is that you're struggling with, what you'd like help with, what your goals are as a dancer, and I'll describe more about the coaching process in that conversation so you can get clear on specifically what you and I would work on, what that process would be like, and you can decide if mindset coaching would be a great fit for you in your future. Again, visit kirstenkemp.com, learn more about my services, and schedule a free consultation. And that's all. I hope to speak with you and help you. I'd be so happy to be a support to you in your journey. And that's all. Let's get back into the video. My next point is actually inspired by a recent exercise that I worked really hard to develop for my mindset coaching clients, which is what I call the value I bring to the studio exercise. Get really clear on what value that you provide with your dancing to your desired audience. Now, your audience isn't just the audience that you will perform for, who sit in the seats in the theater and you're on stage. It's the people that you interact with every day, your peers. How do you bring value to your peers in the ballet class? How do you bring value when you step in the room with your energy? Are you positive? Are you negative? How do you provide value to the people you want to work for? You know, your artistic director, the ballet masters, even the office staff. Focus on being a person who just brings value wherever you go. It allows your mind to actually have a positive purpose. It gives you confidence knowing that you do make a difference, and it allows you to be proud of yourself regardless of whether or not you think someone else is technically better than you or they have more than you in some area. It allows you to center back on, here's who I am, here's what I offer, here's what I'm here to do. And that is tremendously helpful for redirecting your thoughts and focus from someone else has something better than me that I should want and I should be that, I should have that, I should do that, to here's what I'm there to do. My last point, dancers, is to really focus on living with a constant practice of gratitude and having what's called an abundance mindset. These two ways of living and thinking are so transformative. And what I love is that they're also so simple. Y'all, an abundance mindset, it doesn't have to be all woo-woo. The abundance mindset is really living with a focus on what you have rather than what you don't. Because yes, you can still have an abundance mindset and work towards something that you don't yet have. And that mindset actually helps you get that thing that you don't yet have. Here's how. When you are so focused on what you lack, you are much more likely to doubt that you can attain things that you haven't yet attained. You're so focused on what you don't have that you will more easily talk yourself out of doing anything than just, actually perceiving, okay, here's what I want. Here's what I already have. So you're already coming from a place of, I'm fine as I am, and I just want some more. I'm just going to pursue this. I'm just going to do that. Just to build on what you already have rather than coming from a place of lack. I don't have, and so I need this thing to bring me into a place of abundance. It actually causes you to idolize that goal and put it on a pedestal and get more freaked out and attached to it rather than being like, I'm already good. I'm fine as I am, Life is good. It allows you to move towards your goals without that desperation, that excess, that overthinking, that stress that will actually inhibit you from taking the action necessary on the same level to more effectively get the goal. The abundance mindset is very simply focusing each day on thankfulness for what you do have, recognizing or just at least having that assumption that even if you don't see the resource in front of you, you're like, the abundance mindset will say, I want to achieve this thing. I don't know how to get there yet, but I trust that there is a way. I trust that there is one person to talk to who can help me gain clarity on the next steps, or there is some video out there on the internet that will help me to figure out the kind of conundrum I'm in. It's just focusing on that assumption that of course there's a way. Of course I can do something. Of course next steps are available to me. And that mindset of gratitude is also absolutely essential in overcoming comparison, because when you really make a practice and a habit out of being thankful and grateful for what you do have, even if it's, practicing, even if you feel resistance towards it, practicing gratitude for the classmates that you've been jealous of, being grateful for their example, being grateful to be in a room amongst dancers that you admire. Gratitude and the abundance mindset will take you so far in freeing yourself from negative comparison. So dancers, I'm just gonna sum this video up with a brief summary of just some main points I hit on in this video so that you can more easily have some good takeaways and practically create change in your life after watching this video. Point number one, know your intention, know your personal measures of success and your definition of success, and also your values. In other words, what's important to you. I want to just add in this quote as well that I forgot to mention earlier that I love. Focus is fascination of the mind. Now, I wish I knew who said this. I would totally give them credit. Ballet dancers often think of focus as like something you exert so much like effort towards. You have to make yourself focus. It's like more of a discipline thing than like allowing yourself to be enraptured and fascinated in something thing. And so we feel this heavy, heavy sense of obligation to be focused, and we just try to be focused or to not think about that thing that's distracting us, and that actually doesn't work. So rather, allowing yourself to be fascinated by your own path, your own goals, your own journey, you will almost effortlessly be able to focus and follow that cliche advice of staying in your own lane. The next point that I really want to remind you of is the importance of setting an intention for yourself and an outcome that you're focused on in each class, in each day, and more generally just in the period of life you're in right now. So from a small to big picture perspective, you are living with intention. You're not just following whatever goals you think you should follow. You're not just trying to be whatever you think you should be to be happy, vaguely. You're having a focus and an intention for yourself. The next point I really want to remind you of is the importance of knowing yourself and the value that you want to bring to the space that you're in. When you make the way you're living about not just attaining things for yourself that you don't yet have, but being a person who provides value in the journey to others, it really gives back to you. It gives you this sense of purpose and like that you're really doing something in your life. You really are making a difference, even if you don't look like that girl who looks just so beautiful or get all the praise or get all the parts. You still are living with purpose and in touch with who you are and the value that you provide and the value that you have as a person. And lastly, dancers, focus on living out of that gratitude and that abundance mindset that says, I have more than enough available to me to live meaningfully. Not perfectly, not always successfully, but meaningfully. So dancers, I know this video was quite long. I really, really hope that it was not only helpful, but really transformative for you. I hope that you will retain some things that I talked about. I'd love to hear in the comments what are some of the takeaways that you got from this video. If you did enjoy it, I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up and maybe shared it with a friend as well. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.